So Mario put us together. How did you come in contact with Mario in the first place?
Mate, I actually met him at an event. Jeez, it must have been 2022. I first met him. He was at an event, and it was so funny. We connected, mate, over the boxing. Someone said to us, "You did corporate fighter, didn't you?" And I was like, "Yeah." And then Mario's ears kind of pricked up, and mate, yeah, kind of had a couple of kind of conversations, and then he asked me to come on his radio show about 6 months later, which I did. And then I joined him. You know, we got to know each other. And then I joined him on the world record attempt that he did. I was one of the guests on there.
Oh, nice.
And mate, I just love the guy. Love what he's about, man. He's honest as they come, and good person to kind of have in your corner. So yeah, mate. Now we've became quite good friends, and he's doing really well at the moment. He's lost a hell of a lot of weight, and he's training really hard. So mate, yeah, he's a legend.
Yeah, that's cool. That's I didn't even know that he had people come on as guests for that world record. Longest audio recording
Longest ever,
podcast?
radio podcast. So I think he went, I want to say 2.5 days.
I think it was like 57 hours or something like that.
Yeah, it was crazy.
It's so funny, bro.
And I met so many awesome people. And I think that the thing there is, when you're doing something that's out of the ordinary, like really kind of extreme, people will come and support you. And that was kind of what it was about. So, mate, it was good. Yeah, I went in on the Sun. It started Friday night, I think it was, and I went in on the Sunday afternoon, and he was just there. He was just there plugging away.
Wow.
Yeah, so it was good. Yeah, he had a lot of guests, and I think that was helped with the kind of keeping him mentally stimulated. You know what I mean? Like different people coming in with the energy.
Yeah.
Particularly when you've been doing it for a couple of days. So
you would have to be relying on people to bring you back up, wouldn't you?
100%.
I reckon if it was just two geezers going back and forth for 57 hours, they'd be like,
oh mate, no, you couldn't do that. So mate, he was that's where we met. That's where we kind of first met, mate. And he's been a really good friend to me, like, and really kind of quite inspiring. Like you meet these people that just basically lift you up or drag you down. And obviously he's the guy that lifts you up, right? Tells you what to do, and he's always kind of been there for me. And we had a coffee the week before last.
Yeah.
And he always drives in from out west. Comes into the city an hour later. Sometimes I pay for the coffee. Sometimes he does. But mate, I got nothing but good things to say about him.
Yeah, shout out to him if he's listening to this one. So I do appreciate Mario for hooking us into contact together. And yeah, I look at Mario like knowledge and wisdom, eh? Like I genuinely look at him like a mentor in that aspect as well. And he's been so kind and caring and just giving. Like, he's never asked me for nothing, but I feel like every time I speak to him, I feel like I owe him something. You know what I mean?
He never asks you for stuff, but like he'll always offer it up. He always offers up help.
Yeah.
Which I think is which is just as a mark of the man. You know what I mean? Like, he'll do anything to help anyone as long as he knows that they're honest and they're coming from a pure place. I think that's the key thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
He sees right through the BS. He sees right through people instantly.
Yeah, absolutely. You've got a very, very strong accent.
I do.
So how long have you been in Australia? How long did you grow that accent for?
Mate, Friday 13th of March 2009, we landed in Australia. So from Liverpool in the UK. I was 32 at the time. And true story,
So how old are you now?
I'm 49.
I would never have expected you to say 49.
Oh, mate, stop it. Stop the confidence.
That's wild.
Mate,
bro, I could honestly, you could have told me fucking 30.
Oh, mate, stop.
That's crazy.
I was 49 last week.
Wow. Happy birthday.
Thank you, mate.
Hell.
And, an Aquarian.
Mate, try and get this.
Yeah, I can see it. But, mate, we, wife and I, first met. Well, we met in 2007, and I don't know. We kind of got together, and felt like it was. I just wanted to leave the UK for a couple of reasons. I'll get into in a minute. But long story short, I got a job offer to come to Australia in November 08 was it? And that night, I come home. She goes, "I've got to tell you something." I'm like, "What?" She goes, "I'm pregnant." I was like, Yeah, I think. Obviously great, but just got this opportunity to go to Australia. Neither of us have been to Australia, by the way. What could go wrong? So Christmas came and went, 08. January kind of comes and goes. The visa comes through. Valentine's Day 09. And by this time, she's obviously becoming more pregnant.
Yeah.
And we were in my mum's house in Liverpool, Northwest, so 3 hours south of where we lived in Bristol, driving down the motorway. And she's like, you want to do this, don't you? And I'm like, yeah. She's like, okay, tell me about this opportunity. And I'm like, it's in Brisbane. Who do you know in Brisbane? Never been, don't know anyone. Okay, I'm pregnant. Yeah, I get all that, you know. What's it in? I was recruiting in mining, engineering, and all this. What are the worst affected sectors? Mining, engineering. Don't worry about that, you know, figure it out. And we got home, and she went, you're not going to give up, by it? And I said, nah. I said, just trust me. She went, let's do it. 27 days later, we were on the plane. And by then, she was just over 5 months pregnant. And we were that skint. We went from London to San Fran to Auckland to Brisbane, because they gave us an extra suitcase. Oh, that was it. And we were there was only about 10 people on the plane at that time. The GFC had kind of hit. Got to Brisbane on the Friday. Never forget it. Like, you know, we're in this hotel down by the South Bank. Come in on the Monday about 11 o'clock. What's going on? They shut the office. Lost my job day one.
Oh, wow.
Welcome.
Bro, good intro, bro.
So it's a very famous story where people have like, you bullshit, and I'm like, I'm not. And this is how much research we've done into that into coming to Brisbane. She was where I thought was at the beach, and everyone's like, well, she's got in the Goldie, and I'm like, there's not a beach in Brisbane. They're like, no, and she was on the little south, you know, the little man-made one. That's goes and tells her, like, you know, how you going? And never forget it, mate. She's like, what should we do? And I said, should we go to Sydney? On the Friday, we were down to Sydney.
Wow.
And the rest is history, mate. You know, 17 years, 3 kids later and stuff. And it was, I tell that story, you know, and even now it still gets me quite emotional. Like, if we didn't take the opportunity, we wouldn't be here. And everyone says it's your story, but if she never wanted to, if she'd said to me, I'm having the baby here, we wouldn't be here. And, you know, so I love you, Ruthie, man. I think it sometimes. It's as much her story, like she having the courage to do it, mate. And so that was us, mate. And then, we landed in Sydney. The reason we picked Manly, which is where we were living, pure and simple, was it had the maternity ward. Yeah. That was it.
Wow. A good place to pick. They got your water right there.
It was. Mate, I could tell you so many stories. I probably won't write a book about this that time, but I got, sorted myself out with a job. She was going to the antenatal classes. Never forget, if you know Manly where the ferry wharf is, you have to walk up the hill. Didn't have a car. And the second one we went to, and the team I was working with, the office shut at 6, and it started at 6:30, the antenatal. So there's no way I could physically get there. So I used to leg it to get the ferry, get off at like 6:30, 20 to 7, laptop, I'd be running up the hill, sweating in a suit. And this one time, it was the second week, I still remember it now, I had this pinstripe suit, right, which was like, I think it'd been repaired 3 times because it was falling apart. And it goes in, the lady, is here, she goes, pick a card, the midwife, and goes around to all the dads, who's got mother? You just lie on the floor, please. I'm like, yeah. And she goes, can you just open your leg? Long story short, I had pink undies on underneath. I had these 2 big holes in my suit because I was that skint. And she just went, and I just remember sitting there. I was like, this is it. It can't get any worse than this, man. So
this is where I am, eh?
True story, that one, mate. Like, you can come through that. But I never actually, this sounds really bad. I couldn't go back, like, because I was just like, fucking hell, man, this is like, it was, but some of our best friends we met at that antenatal class, Graham and Meg, and they remember they're still good mates. I saw them the other night, and they came over and they knew what it was like coming from the UK. Lent us their car, did this, that, and I always remember them to give us a lift back down rather than us walking. But mate, that was it. Like, it was a rough entry. But if you don't buy a ticket, don't win the prize. I stayed in the UK, but mate, so there's not many more. People have had a rough entrance like that.
Honestly, I would love to digest it a little bit more and deeper. But the first you did say we want to leave the UK, and there's a story in itself. I'll come back to this later. Why was there a calling and an itch to leave there?
Yeah, mate, it's a well-known...
And you were 30... How old were you?
I was 32 when I left the UK. Yeah. So I started work at the age of 17 with my dad. He was in the seafood kind of sales, export kind of game. And so when people say, who's Steve Tolen, I say I sold fish till the age of 27. It's true. And worked in the fish market as kind of working class. You could get, you could come in, buy a fish. We also supplied restaurants and stuff. And we had a bit of a wholesale side to the business, which my dad run. And did it for about 10 years. And we fell out long and short. Like there's many reasons behind it, which I kind of won't go into. But if I look back now, I wasn't the best version of myself, right? Like life was hard. My dad had split up with my mum over the years and stuff like that. And mate, you partied or you did whatever you did at the weekends to try and get away from it. Like, looking back, and that was like a lot of people, the weekends they go out and get annihilated or whatever because they can't face. I was kind of in that mode. And escapism, mate. Yeah, and you see it, right? Like, and that doesn't mean you're proud of it or whatever, but I needed a change and I needed a complete reset. And we had a falling out, and it was probably the best thing that ever happened to me because I left my hometown, went to stay with my eldest sister who was in Devon, about 5 hours south on the coast, and I got into recruitment. And mate, the rest is history. Like, I remember going into company Wise Employment. It was in Exeter, and they said, "Have you got a CV?" I was like, "Never done a CV." And they're like, "Okay, what have you done?" I was company director. You like sales, this, that, and the other. You ever thought about recruitment? And I was like, I had no idea what. Anyway, fell into there. Did that for about 6 months. Realised what it was about. I was driving a minibus around the bay, picking up litter pickers, picking up garbage men. I loved it, man. Like, I was up 4 a.m, getting in the thing. It was an hour's drive into the bay. And then I got picked up by another company because they were like, this guy is clearly good at this. National company. And 12 months in, I got hit up by an international company, which was Manpower. And that required me to move from Exeter, a bit further north. And as I went into the branch, there was a blonde lady who was running the actual branch. And a few people were like, are you single? I'm single, yeah. She's single as well. I was like, okay.
Now we're talking. Yeah.
Now we're talking. And Christian Shanahan, who is a good mate of mine, teed us up with the date. And we got together, mate, in when was it? It was March 2007. And Ruth's brother passed away. About 6 months after about November that year, and I think the pair of us just with everything we'd kind of been through, and I was like, I think just want to start again, and then that was kind of what led us to it, mate. Like, you know what I mean? So it was a fresh start, and we thought we'd probably only do it for a year at the time, 17 years later, but I look back at it, mate, like, and again, I think life is, if you only ever look and think what are the risks or what could go wrong, you won't get anywhere.
Nah.
So I've always been forever the optimist, but again, it's as equally her story as it is mine.
That is a very nice, humbling thing to say, because it is truthfully and factually like your journey together doing this.
Yeah, it is.
And the courage it takes to take the leap of faith in the first place, that's something that every man should be proud of for the journey they go on. But we have to also acknowledge that the courage it must take for a woman as well to put her faith in a man who says he's going to take us to that place. That to me is crazy. I'm not putting my faith in some other bloke, bro. You know what I mean? Like,
mate, whether she do it again now, I don't know. But you've nailed it, mate. Like, and having somebody put that trust in you is something I'll never forget, mate. And I'm not perfect, like, you know what I mean? I'm a nutter. I'm a workaholic. I work very hard, but I also know that you only get out what you put in. And genuinely, mate, like, I can honestly say I'm just trying my best. Like, you know what I mean? I got a lot of faults. You expect your kids, right, to operate like they do in a business sometimes, right? Like, because if you say to someone who's under your authority or management, right, you know what I mean, it gets done. And this is a constant, again, I know I'm not perfect. And with my kids, they're probably, here he goes again, like, you know what I mean? But as long as they try and they have a crack, that's all. Like, if you're not having a crack, like my eldest this morning, school's 10-minute walk away, and he's like, he's late again. I'm like, what's going on? May have used some choice, but that's the one thing I think now, if looking back around, as you just say, and then like she had the courage the belief in me to kind of do it, and even on day one when it looks like you're thinking, geez, like this has just got blown up the face.
It sounds like day done, let alone day one. You know what I mean? That's mad.
So yeah, it's equally. I completely agree with what you said. Then the faith you put in me means a lot.
Yeah, of course, because it's also like plans and journeys wouldn't be able to see through without the faith that someone else can take in us. Like for a woman to put their trust in us, I'm under the belief that the thing would never get done without it. It's almost like the second half of the puzzle piece that we needed in order for this plan to see motion. Like to have someone believe in you is to me more of a driving force than to just have that belief and faith in yourself.
Mate, you've nailed it. As I mentioned before, I recently started my own podcast, and it's already morphed into what I thought it was going to be, where I've had amazing people say, can I come and share their story? And there's a good mate of mine, Alex Apache. She's 6'9", right? So you can guess what sports he used to play, right?
Yeah.
And I had him on. I've known him for a long time. He's in recruitment now. He set up a business. And a shout out to him. He's an absolute legend. One of the most humble people you meet. And he put a post up not so long ago on LinkedIn. It went viral. And he talked about
viral on LinkedIn.
He did.
Oh, I didn't know LinkedIn had a sharing page like that.
Yeah, he put a post up and talked about his wife and his family, and he said, "This lady believed in me even when I didn't believe in myself." And he wanted to wrap the business up, and it was challenging. And she said, "I believe in you." And that's why I want, and I kind of, it was quite humbling, and even for me with my own experience and stuff, like going kind of through, it really resonated. Like, and I think most blokes, and I've seen this, we talk about mental health and stuff. People give this facade that they're perfect, and like, and what you actually see is some of the people we've mentioned here, like the ones who are real and authentic. They acknowledge and they'll show kind of vulnerability and things, and if you're trying to do it on your own, mate, it's a pretty lonely way to be anyway.
Oh, yeah. Even taking any journey on your own. Like, I hear one of my favourite inspirations online is Patrick Bet-David. He speaks about the fact that before he built his $100 million, I think he exited for over 100. I can't remember if it was 100 or 200, let's just say $100 million. Before he built the business, before he could exit, he thought, do I really want to do this by myself?
Yeah.
Wouldn't I rather do it with my mates? So he just got his mates together and he said, we are going to do this, like, why climb to the top of the mountain by yourself? I'm sure it's an amazing journey, but like, someone's mentioned to me on the podcast when it comes to traveling as well, you don't really remember the places you went, you remember the people you went with. It's everything just points to the fact that we shouldn't really be doing things on our own. We should be trying to be lonely with someone else, do our personal achievements individually with someone else with us, like that should be what we're trying to do.
100%. Like, it's life's hard. Like, running your own business is hard, and it's I'm a very social person, a people person, right? And it is hard. Like, even going through this kind of journey, there's many times when I've gone, like, this is hard, is it? And then you have days where you can't be bouncing off the ceiling every day, right? And similar kind of story. I've been there with Ruth when when there's no money in the bank, or there's this, that, and the other, and you're going like, and you always kind of make it through, like, you know what I mean? And that's I completely agree. Like, you need someone that's kind of by your side. Like, she knows, mate, honestly, I ain't perfect. I ain't perfect at all. But again, as I said before, I'm trying my best, right? And even with what I'm doing here, I finished my job in June last year and kicked off in July. I kind of kickstarted my business. Didn't have enough money to get us through the next month. Like, failure is not an option, right? At any stage, if she'd said to me, don't do it, or you'll just go and get another job, never once has she said that. Like, it's just like, I come back and I go, you're always looking for someone, and it might sound a bit daft, but sometimes when you're down, particularly, you're almost wanting someone to stick the boot in to confirm, and she's never done that. Like, she's never done that once, and that, again, it's always like, you'll figure it out. What are you thinking? Where'd you get this from? That's support, right? Like, so that kind of means a lot. And even with the journey that I'm on, it's up, it's down, it's sideways. Some days I'm like, Jesus, where's this going? What's the direction? But I actually enjoy it, mate. Like, I enjoy it. I enjoy knowing that 99.9% of people probably wouldn't do it. Like, when I told people I was gonna kick my business off, they were like, you got kids, haven't you? I was like, 3. I had a couple in private school. Yeah. Haven't you got a mortgage? Yeah. And people just go, are you mental? And I go, what are you going to do? And I'm like, I'll figure it out. And I think there's two types of personalities, mate. Like there's the thinkers, maybe, or the sayers, and the doers. And what I've learned, you can plan and do as much of this as you want, but at some point you've got to execute. Mm-hmm. And nothing ever goes to plan. Nothing ever goes to plan. But I do find, and honestly, we were discussing kind of earlier, once you take that leap and you show that you've got the courage to back yourself, opportunities always, the universe has a weird way of backing you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because
while you talk, I'm going to pull something up.
Yeah,
I'm not being rude.
No. But it's true, mate. And I've realized that, like, if you want to play life safe, and there's nothing wrong with. I've had a few people say to me, not everyone wants to run their own business or do whatever. And I'm like, I totally get it. And if you're happy doing your job and it pays well and you're good on you. For me, I just like the craziness and the accountability of knowing it's on my shoulders. Like, you can't blame anybody else. But there's definitely, and you see it with these people who've had the courage to kind of burn the boats, as they say, and just go for it. Like, and they're a special breed.
Yeah, of course, absolutely. The burn the boats is one of my favourite references and past stories that comes from ancient times, where I don't remember who was the king at the time, but I believe it was when the Vikings were going through France and England, and they decided, the leader of the army decided, fuck it, when we get there, I'm burning the boats.
That's it. No going back.
There is no going back. Hey, we're going through.
Yeah. Mate, it's an awesome.
I tell you what, I wanted to quickly touch on this as well, because I feel like we're going to go past it, and I don't want to go too far before I bring us back a little bit. You said you'd never been to Australia before. Yeah. However, I have met and I know countless stories of people who have moved from the UK to Australia.
Yeah.
Everyone's got a different reason as to why and when. And I find that, like, moving and going straight to a place like Manly was the best thing you could have done. Because if you don't get straight to the beach when you get here, what'd you come here for? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So my question to you was going to be, before you moved here, and I know we're going back 17 years now, so it might be hard to remember, what was your preconception of Australia before you moved here?
Oh, wow. I mean, it's the classic thing that entices the Poms, right? Like, you're working in the morning, you're in the beach by like 2 PM, all that crap, and you realise it is a load of crap. People work really bleeding hard.
You thought it was going to be a bit more of like like a kick it lifestyle,
kick it,
long hair surfing.
Yeah, exactly. Drinking beers, like, and stuff, and mate, it appealed. We got offered the Middle East or Australia, and I was just like, if you wanted money and stuff, and I was like, it wasn't that. It was actually the lifestyle. And then when you realise, obviously, you're about to become a dad, and I knew a few people that had been, and I just had great reports and stuff. And then I knew a lot of Poms who'd come in recruitment, and they were like, they seemed to be doing quite well. But yeah, mate, it was like, I thought it's going to be pretty laid back and stuff. But I'd be lying if I said the bleeding weather wasn't a massive. I remember one of my last journeys, because we left February, March, was scraping the ice off the car, and I was just like,
it's funny.
Seriously.
I know that's a real thing in the world, but I can't imagine that. You know what I mean? I can't imagine waking up and it being that cold that I'm scraping ice to get my day started.
It's not fun.
I struggle, as someone who's always lived in Australia, to imagine that the human body has to go through that somewhere in the world, bro.
Yeah, it's
that's mad,
mate. It wasn't fun, and it was like, I don't want to sound like I bash the UK, like it's my home and stuff. And again, I think everyone in life has wants different things. There's many people that we're so far away from the UK, and I feel it. I miss my family dearly. You know what I mean? They miss us, and it's hard, like, because the cost of going back with a family of 5 now, it's 15 to 20 grand just to get on the plane. All right, it's a lot of money. My mum will say, well, you made the decision. I know, I get that, mum, sorry. But that's the reality. Like, we'd love to kind of go back more often. We should have gone back in June. Was starting my business. The financial didn't make sense, so we will go back at some point. Will it be this June? I hope so. But I know that's something for me to take on board. But yeah, mate, it was the lifestyle. I think honestly, it was just a better way of life and again, I don't mean this kind of disrespectfully, but I kind of like making my own path, doing my own thing, you know, and I'm not afraid of taking challenges. And that was definitely one of the biggest gambles that we ever took, but it kind of worked out. So,
it's kind of what we are destined to do, I believe. You know, I don't know if we really should be living in the same place the moment we're born. I kind of feel like that's a waste of an opportunity for the fact that we have such an enormously large planet.
Yeah.
You know, like we can go anywhere. And the choice to stay where you are, to me, is almost like a little bit of a, oh, really? You know, I've met people, right? And this, when I first started traveling a little bit, and I've never been a traveler. I've never bought a one-way ticket to a destination too far, but I've gone on holidays. So I've been anywhere local enough, Fiji, New Zealand, Thailand, Bali, any places like this. And I find that I'd come back and I'd tell people stories of, you know, going overseas, and I realised that I knew people that had never left the suburbs, bro. You know what I mean? Let alone the towns and the states. Yeah. Like, they'd never left the area. Yeah. It's too far, especially a lot of people that smoke cones. Like, they ain't going past the postcode.
Ain't going anywhere.
That's as far as they're going.
The phone box. And then back,
right, we're meant to do that. We're meant to, like, experience what it's like to have this giant planet. Otherwise, it's a little bit of a waste of time having it.
Yeah, mate, I'm with you. And, I completely agree. And I think once you kind of got that bug, it's very hard. You know, my eldest son has just done 2 years in boarding school out in Bathurst, and not because he was badly behaved, or because I wanted to give him an experience. He's a rugby boy, right? And he's just done 2 years in the country, and I can see the shift in him, right? Like, before he went, I used to get worried about him jumping the bus or going to the mall or whatever, and then he's getting the train to Central, to Bathurst and stuff, and that's you can't. That experience, the independence, and also the different people, and it was a bit of everything, mate. Like, before he went, the fashion, you know, and just then you meet people who just like they're basically farmers and country people, great people. Like, couldn't say enough about the experience he had, and that's what it's about. You know, he's had an experience where he's met different people, and he you know, he'd go off into the country on the weekends and do all sorts of stuff, and that was why we did it. Now he's back and going to school, as I say, about 5 minutes down the road, and he's still bloody late in the morning. But I was very, as a father, it meant a lot to me that I was able to give him that experience. You know, you missed him and stuff, but just watching him change, and you know, he's 17 in June, and as I say, Ruth was pregnant when we got on that, and I'm thinking that time goes like that, you know. But it does make it. You watch them become independent because they made decisions and just experienced a bit of a different life. And again, there's nothing wrong. I don't think everyone has to immigrate or emigrate or whatever, but I don't know, I just think, like you say, the world's a big place, mate, and I look at how much travel I've done and stuff, and I wouldn't change it for the world, you know.
It's the calling to adventure. I think that we're born with it in us, you know. I don't even think that it's our nurture. I don't think it's our nature. Yep. I think that we are. It's like our experiences give us more of a desire. Yep. They might give us more of a desire to go out there and experience more.
Yeah.
And so I feel like we're born with it in our souls, you know. Because I feel like if I was to play scientific on the fact of it, I think that for hundreds of thousands of years, we never stayed true in one place, and we'd use an area until we filled the resources. There's no more bananas on this tree. There's no more rabbits to try and track down. Like, better start moving to the next area, and you move over, bro. That's like what we did. Right?
Yeah.
You know?
Mate, it's, I think once, like, no growth comes from staying in the comfort zone, right? Like, so again, you know, it's funny with me, you'd probably say I've got half a tattoo on my bloody leg. I was a big Everton fan, and I am, and let me say I'm still a big Everton fan. But I got a tattoo on the team when I was 18, right? Like, because that's who I was growing up no different from a kid from Para or whatever. And then you get a bit older, and I left the city, and I used to go to game every weekend and stuff, right? And it was a big part of me, and I still follow the team. But as you get older, you kind of, I've certainly changed. And people are like, oh, geez, you're giving us like, no. But I still follow them, but it was a different time, kind of back then. So I've actually had it half removed, and not because I said it with the team, but it was like, I'm just, you evolve, mate, like, and stuff. And I think, when I look back and I think, you know, I kind of grew up in there in the hometown and stuff. And then once you kind of break away, still got great mates there and everything. it's very hard. I think it'd very hard to kind of go back, you know. And I think I just like the fact that like this, you only get one shot at this life, and I don't expect everyone to understand your reasoning, you know, what's right for me or whatever is going to be very wrong for other people. But very proud of my roots, you know, Liverpool born and bred, that's just Scousers, that's what we're called. And I'm very proud of that. And I think if I look back and go, it gave me my work ethic, you know, my hopefully humility, the energy and your passion. And again, one of the comments that I quote that I got off a regular on a basis, which means a lot to me, is people, again, you're not afraid of walking your own path. And, you know, when a lot of people mention my name, they laugh. And it's out of love, you know what I mean? Because the guy's his character is different. And it's like, why try and conform and be in a box, you know what I mean? I've never understood that.
Yeah, I love it. On the subject of recruitment, right, that's something that I want to touch on first. Recruitment, and I'm assuming when I say this because I'm not really sure, so I'm asking from an audience perspective as well, is the career in assisting people get to the jobs they want and also assisting companies get the employees they need? Yeah,
spot on.
Okay.
So recruitment, I mean, basically what you need is a candidate, someone to place in a company that wants to hire them. So yeah, I've been in recruitment now 22 years. I'm actually not a recruiter, believe it or not. I've always led sales, been the rainmaker, led sales teams, grew businesses. That's been my kind of skill, and I enjoy it, mate. Like, I enjoy building things. I enjoy, you know, if someone says we're going to do this, but it's almost impossible, it's going to be hard work, I'm like, let's go.
Yeah, I'll bring my tool bag. Let's do it.
Mate, like I've already gone. That's where the red personality
Call
comes.
you at Bunnings.
Yeah, the red personality. I don't need the full 80-page document. Let's give me the high level. What could go right? What could go wrong? But yeah, recruitment, mate, is changed a lot. Like in the last few years. So now I consult to a lot of business owners on where growth stalled, right? And we're at the beginning of this. This could open up a separate conversation. This kind of revolution with AI and technology. And again, as I said to you up front, like, I'm an old school, hopefully values guy who stays current. Like, ignorance is not an excuse. If you don't understand about technology, there's so much information, go and figure it out. This is where I think there's a lot of people still stuck in old kind of ways of working. And my phrase that I use is harness the humanity. A lot of people have forgot the art of communication, relationship building. You can do everything from your house, but they don't go out and meet people anymore. So you got two ends of the spectrum: the full automation, full technology, and those over here resistant. And the sweet spot's in the middle. And those who master it, like, I am rubbish. I never turned a computer on until I was 27, right? Sold fish. This explains my email kind of strategy. But yeah, mates, those who have kind of worked out that you can use technology to do research and enable you to find more of the right people that you should talk to are more successful in recruitment. Clients are busy. They don't have time to waste with people who want to flick a load of CVs at them and get a bill, right? So we're seeing this kind of really emerge or evolve over the last kind of couple of years. And what we've seen from the recruitment market is it's going very niche. So someone might be a one-man band in AI, you know, there might be a subcategory in that. But yeah, mate, it's fundamentally the whole sector the whole industry has really changed the last couple of years.
Have you noticed being in the recruitment then? Because AI is definitely something that I listen to a lot of podcasts about. I'm always interested in hearing people's perspective on how it is going to change the world and how it already has.
Yeah.
And being someone who's got a career inside of seeing where people are employed, have you noticed a shift in the amount of employment since AI started to come out?
Yeah, I think, and I'll talk specific to what I know about recruitment, right? We heard that AI was going to take over recruiters' jobs. It's not true. Recruiters who master AI will take your jobs, take your work, right? So those who've got an open mind to go, how can I take one person productivity and turn it to 1.5 or 2 using AI? They're the ones that will be successful, right? So if you break down the process from opening a role to finding someone to offer where is the bottleneck, or where is most of your time spent that could potentially be automated? This is where the smarter people are saying. I'll give you a bad example as well. Sales is about outreach, outbound, connecting with people. And I get shot for saying this, but there's so much automation where people go, we can send out 5,000 messages a day and you'll get 5 positive responses. And I'm going, it's a really good way to really destroy your network and your reputation.
It's also a horrible ROI as well.
Yes.
One in every.
Honestly.
What is it? 1 every 100?
One every. Okay, I can't even do the bleeding math on it now, but it's probably a 0.0001%, right?
Yeah.
Or whatever. So it's literally. But these are the kind of, if you throw enough stuff at the wall, something will stick.
Yeah, sorry, every 1,000.
But something will stick. I should check that for something will stick, and that's what I kind of veered away from, and I said to people, okay, but if you're utilizing the tool to do more research, right, and then say, my target market is engineering in this subcategory. Who are the companies that I should be there? These are my offerings. How might this be a good match? Can you give me some? This is what people are doing, right? And they're utilizing it properly. So it's time saving, it's repeatable kind of admin tasks. But I fundamentally believe when it comes to human connection, you can't automate the relationship building process.
Yeah, you definitely can't. And I think that we are accidentally leaning too heavy on what we think AI should be used for.
Yeah.
Because I do it personally. So I can imagine businesses and things that are trying to replace the human connection of what it means to actually build trust and converse and there's actually a human element to making sure that you're not just trying to make money, but you're trying to provide a service, 100%. When it comes to sales. And even me on my own, I wouldn't say pointless shit that I use AI for, because it is a helpful tool for me. But I think I lean on it even for creativity. I lean on it for imagination. I lean on it for problem solving and things that sometimes I'm halfway through therapy with ChatGPT thinking, how the fuck did I end up in therapy? And it's not even right. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, even this morning I had a spare, I think, 40 minutes. I was waiting for something to happen this morning. So I was in my car waiting for this, and I'm playing with ideas in my head, and I thought about a friend, and I thought, I thought to myself, like, okay, a couple of things they've said lead me to believe that they might have a bit of anxiety and fear around a certain subject.
Yep.
And I've been practicing my faith as much as I can lately, so I'm trying to reflect, look for the Bible for a bit of an answer and build a relationship. So I just went on ChatGPT and said, hey, is there any Bible verses around this subject? Because this is someone I know going through this, and I just want to be able to help myself understand it more. Maybe I could pass it on, maybe I won't need to. Before I know it, chat goes to me like, okay, this is this is that, but let's just dive deeper into why you're asking that about your friend. Are you subconsciously projecting something that you might be feeling?
Yeah.
And because I had the 40 minutes, I literally said, fuck it, let's find out. You know what I mean? Yeah. Before I know it, I'm fucking opening up about shit. I'm thinking to myself, like, by the end of it, I think that I don't even feel this anymore. I think that it pulled information out of me that I might be trying to make up.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, okay, so maybe AI ain't actually all that, bro. It's too much sometimes.
Mate, I think the way I looked at it from a recruitment perspective, I said, would you give a graduate who's on day one of the job, would you give them the keys to your CRM, your LinkedIn, and just let them go bananas? The answer is no, right? So it will get there and it offers so much potential. But honestly, the amount of time people are spending investing trying to make it work, they could have just done it themselves and got the best results. So I think, there's so much opportunity which we're kind of seeing, but we're still at it's still in its infancy in terms of productivity,
I definitely like the way you said it, and it was an interesting place to go. The people who use AI to find out how to get someone to do 1.5 to 2x in efficiency. Like, for some people might hear something like that and think, so we're going to miss out on 1.5 to 2 times the workforce. That's going to be subtracted.
Yeah.
But it's not subtracted if you give everyone 1.5 to 2 times efficiency, you know?
Yeah.
It's actually not a negative thing at all.
No, mate, it's not. It's like productivity is low. Like if I look at this across the board, there's always been there's always innovation, right? There's always things that are happening. You know, when the internet kind of came along, like if I look in, like let's take the recruitment space. When LinkedIn came along, everyone was like, "That's the end of recruitment agencies." And it's like, it's not. You know, that's the end of this. When AI, there's always something that's coming along. It's always happened since the dawn of time, right? So evolution, the only constant is change. And again, there's no substitute for experience. Even in the things that I'm coaching people on now in terms of they want to be successful in recruitment, it's really, and I said, you know, relationships. Are you still speaking to more people? No. Okay. It's not that hard to see where you need to focus on. You know, if we talk about the phone in sales right now, cold calling has been absolutely demonized. I've never built a relationship without a conversation. You know, so that's a reality. So if you're trying to do it on email or whatever, it doesn't work, or LinkedIn.
Even me and my partner, we can't text. We end up fighting.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We always end up in a place where I'm assuming how she interpreted. I'm assuming what she meant when she said her thing. I'm interpreting it wrong.
Yeah.
So we just don't text anymore.
Okay.
We have to call each other because we're flawed in our own ways. We both have our own past traumas and we both have our own assumptions of what we think we expect from people. But as soon as we talk, we're like normal, bro.
I'm with you, and it's not with Ruth, but I'm the same. You can get an email and 3 different people could read it 3 different ways.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what does that mean? Why is he saying that? Have a nice day, or are you good? And I'm like, what do you mean? Like,
what do you mean, mate?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And it's true, mate. Like, so I'm the same. Like I text people and I ring, I call them, and people are like, oh, what's going on? Like, you not use Slack or whatever. And I'm like, okay, did you leave me a voicemail? Did you Slack me? Did you email me? Where was this? And people are like, oh my God, just call them. But mate, this an issue that we have right now. And when I was launching my business, going into like, I talk about obviously sales, social selling, you know, using social media awareness and trust. Someone said to me recently, a good friend, they went, you should be a communication consultant. Like, what do you mean? He went, the art of communication. It was quite interesting because people are doing everything they can to circumvent having a conversation, which is actually really concerning and really sad. When I go into the city, and I'm in most days, like I'm not good. I'm not built for working from home, right? If there's a necessity, but I don't see it as, I know it sounds a bit bonkers. I prefer being around people, and mentally, your brain, and it's psychologically kind of, if you're at home and you're kind of in a halfway house, trying to kind of like get into work mode, and that's where a lot of the problems come. So when I'm in, you kind of know and you feel the energy. Here's what's interesting. I bump into the same people all the time in the city, doing the same, like similar roles. They're bouncing around, they're meeting people. Do they know that they're going to get a sale or do they whatever? They know, but they know that the law of averages says the more people, more conversations you have, and the more people see you doing stuff, guess what? Opportunities tend to arise. Like,
well, that's what luck is. Luck is when time meets preparation.
100%. And it's, again, if I look back and go, what has made me success? It's honestly nothing more than sheer grit, determination. Yeah, you know, you've built up experience and a network and stuff, but I always lead by example. Like, would I say I'm the best manager? I don't think so. Because I like to lead, like, and I like to kind of go, and probably people on here have managed to have gone, because I'm always a million miles an hour. The way that I've always responded to a leader is those who go, let me show you how I do it, and they lead by example. Those who just want to manage and stuff, I think that's not where the magic is. You know what I mean? So,
well, that's and I've said this. I used to say this on the podcast a lot. The difference between a leader and a ruler. A leader is at the front.
Yeah.
He's showing it. A ruler is sitting on a throne ordering it. No one respects a ruler.
No.
People fear a ruler.
Yeah.
But everyone respects and fears a leader.
And you always get found out, right? It always comes crashing down. Like, and I've seen this, mate, and it's interesting. If I look at my own kind of career, you know, in 22, I landed what would most say was a dream job, and I became a CEO of a private equity firm working for a very famous guy in the recruitment industry. And it was the hardest I've ever worked, like given everything to a role. And I did that for the best part of 2 years. I got promoted to run Asia, but inside I was sacrificing everything. I had no life. And I kind of look back on that, and would I do it again? Probably in a heartbeat, because what I learned through that experience was fantastic. And I genuinely mean that. Like, I worked for an incredibly successful businessman. I got to build a business really quick over here in Australia. The people I met, I don't focus on the negatives. Yes, I kind of left when I knew my time was done. I was like, I'm not going to sacrifice my family or my values for this. But I would do it again, probably, because I like crazy opportunities where people go like, this, don't do it. And I'm like, okay, so what you're saying is there's a chance. But I think, mate, again, if I look back, I didn't ever want to be that person that didn't take the chance. If you take risks, take calculated risks, right? But if you back yourself,
if we didn't take risks, like I think we take risks all day, every day. We take risks whether we are choosing our own risk or whether the risk is choosing us. Like, to me, it's way more risky to live a life of safety and security and expect happiness in the end. Like, everything that we do, we're choosing to do it in hopes of getting something later, right?
Yeah.
We want to start our own business to either have more time. We want to start our own business to have more money. We want to get this job because we think it's going to take us to the next level, or it's going to be able to fund our lifestyle in the meantime. Like, everything's a risk. And I think the risk, to me, that beams don't do it is the risk of living ordinary life in the hopes of pride at the end. That it's possible, like everything, but that seems fucking risky to me.
I couldn't agree more. And as I said, I've been as open as I can. I've had good, on the surface, nice job titles, I've earned reasonable money and stuff, right? I don't drive a Ferrari. My kids go to normal kind of schools. They do normal things, right? Like, they were pretty grounded. And I look and I go, it was that thing with me, the fear of knowing that if you don't back yourself or believe in yourself, how can you expect anybody else to? And I think you get to this age, like when I made the trip to Oz, 31, 32, and I made the decision, no kids, very little responsibilities, probably easy. And then, as I say, like last year, 48, and I'm like, this opportunity is not right. That's it. Burn the boats. Here we go again.
It's so
and people
cool.
are like,
I love that.
Are you mental? And I do, and again, mate. And I think I honestly, in my mind, I said, I need to get this out of my system. And if I know that I back myself, I know it's going to be uncomfortable. But at least I can say I gave it my all. And that's what people say. You're going to work weekends. You're going to do this. You think it's tough? It's supposed to be. And it's a weird kind of thing, because the easiest thing would be like just to go, I'll just get and then, mate, there's nothing wrong. Like, and if the right opportunity came along, would you consider it? Probably. But again, I do enjoy this, knowing that it's this responsibility, that it's on you. Like, you know what I mean? And it's not easy, mate. Like I said, the last 6 months, I didn't really go to the gym. Like, I got freaking big chops on me before Christmas and stuff. But I sacrificed everything. I was working up until 3 o'clock Christmas Eve, right? And then, kind of come back. But I knew when I got to January, I was like, okay, you push through. You got to get back into it now. So get back into the groove, which I've been kind of doing. But so to say, some people go, hang on, so you're sacrificing security, you're sacrificing this, you sacrifice that. And I'm going, I get it. But, as I say, mate, like, at least if I could look back in my rocking chair and go, I gave it my best, right? If it works, fantastic. If not, no problem. But here's the funny thing. People see you having a crack and they acknowledge those who've been on a similar journey, right? People go, and that's what I think, the respect that you get off people, because they go, that looks really, really tough. Mm-hmm. And it is, right? Like, but I don't know, maybe I'm just a bit of a nutter, but
I think you have to be, and I think it's a good thing you are. And I'm going to say, yeah, you probably are a nutter, okay?
Not probably.
I'm not going to make the assumption for you, but if you want to make it, I have faith in you that you are. I do, because the heart will tell you if you're doing the right thing or not, you know? And things, it's like, for example, if I was thinking about podcasting and even content in the first place, like, I wouldn't put too much of a description on it now because I find that I don't have, because I've got experience, I don't have to put too much preparation into an episode. I don't have to, it's not trenduous, is that the word? Trenduous? To edit an episode because I've narrowed it down to a comfortable amount of time. But in the beginning, it was like, for one episode, I might spend 20 hours in a week on it. 20 hours per week. And I'd be starting off episodes up to 1 to 50, telling people I've been doing this thing. And they're going, how much time do you spend doing it? I'm like, oh, probably 20 hours a week. And people go, what? 20 hours a week? That's insane. That's a lot of work. That's a lot of output. And it's like, yes, it's a lot of output, but I can feel that I have to, if I don't do it, I'm going to feel bad because I didn't do it because my heart's telling me I shouldn't be doing it in the first place. So just because something takes risk and effort and output doesn't mean it's a negative thing, but it's going to look like a negative thing to people who wouldn't want to do it. You know what I mean? Their heart doesn't tell them to do it.
Yeah, mate, I completely empathize. Like I get it. Like a lot of people just don't understand the journey that you're on, and you know, I think that's the thing. As long as it makes sense to you, and keep doing it. Like not everyone's going to see your vision. I always remember this. Was that like kind of meme where it's the guy who's dancing like a nutter on his own and it's supposed to start a movement, and then a couple of people the next minute you go bang. And I think that's what it's like. And you know, big boxing fan, like a boxer, and it's all about, you know, they're just one of the motto is just LFG, right? Let's fucking go. And I love it, mate. Like, you know, people just sit there, and particularly in boxing, you know, I use this phrase, it's you versus you, right? You can't tap out, you know, if you're going to do it. And the kind of the mental kind of stability or the mental kind of framework, whatever you want to call it, that you require to kind of push through. It's the same in business, the same in life, and that's where my relationship with that with boxing kind of come from. Because again, if you can't rely on yourself, it's a sad place to kind of be, right? So, you know, I talk about mindset and mastery, and very much around, if you don't believe you can do it, then don't even start.
Yeah, because you actually can't. Yeah, I was having this conversation this morning.
Yeah.
If you believe that something isn't a possibility, it's not a possibility.
It's not, mate. And others, you know, it's like you said, 2 kids come from a broken home. One failed because he came from a broken home. One was successful because he came from a broken home.
I like that. Yeah. What the hell?
It's true, isn't it?
I felt that when you said that.
Yeah, but like, it's all perception, right? Like, and I talk about it. I said on a post this morning, I said, you know, talk about the 3 Ps, which was, I can't remember what it was now, but one was positioning. Do the preparation. So, you know, if you're going to speak to someone, why would you want to speak to them, right? Just think about it. The second thing is the positioning. You've given them, you know, why would they want to speak to you, and how is it you're going to make it of interest to them, what your services are? And the 3 is pitch, execute, do it. And most people just want to go straight to pitch without the preparation, without the kind of the positioning, and it's weak. And when you look back and you go, I can guarantee, I can tell you why you failed. It's because there's no quality in this. You know what I mean? I get pitches all the time, mate, and it's literally, hey Steve, can I get 15 minutes on your calendar? It's like, I've never met you in my life. Like, you know, like we were saying before, I do YouTube editing, I do this. So, do you need a VA? And I'm like, no.
What the fuck's a VA? Someone asked me that.
Virtual assistants.
Oh, virtual assistant.
So you get all this, but then what gets my attention, someone goes, I've had a look at your website. I can see 3 or 4 improvements, right? I'm going to shoot you a little video. It's last 90 seconds. Would you watch it? Would you watch it? I would.
Yeah, I got 90 seconds.
You know what I mean? Because it's like, okay, yeah, someone's took the time. So what's the difference? One is just throwing stuff at the wall. Another is someone that's gone, this guy fits into my kind of, you know, my category. Let's have a look and let's see. This is where the world is now gone. There was a stat that I saw recently, and it said from potential buyers. So if you're looking to buy something, once you've made the buying decision on your preferred partner, let's say it's a car, right? And you've gone, I'm getting a bloody Audi or whatever. If someone else finds out that you're looking for a car and they come in, the buyer will spend no more than 14% of their time even assessing what else is out there. In other words, if you're not first, you're last. Right? So it's quite interesting, but people still chase. And it's like, you know, if you bought a house, why didn't you come to, well, I don't know if that kind of makes sense. But again, people have actually gone out there, done the research and actually executed.
Yeah.
That's where they get the deal.
I can feel that statistic as a full capacity in my mind, because I have a vlog planned for a Saturday coming up.
Yeah.
And I'd already planned, and I'm doing it with someone else at the same time, even though it's just in the air. We haven't finalised it. It's still waiting to be finalised.
Yeah.
Someone else came to me with the idea for a vlog to film on that Saturday. And even though that one's still in the air, I know I'm not putting more than 14% effort into planning that one.
Yeah.
Because it's first in only
someone's come first. They've built you the vision. They've got it. And yeah, mate. So again, this is since sales has kind of evolved or whatever. It's like you're building. It's all built on trust, mate. Right? And again, with all this technology and everything that's kind of come in, you know, we live in a world now where everything is visible, right? Social media, so much opportunity, so much blah blah blah, but also people have never been more like there's never been more anxiety and stuff, right? Because they're sitting there, they're watching, they're going, geez, he's got this car. I mean, it's like the old the private jet, right? When everyone's going, you realise they've built a studio.
Yeah,
it's like, come on.
Yeah.
But people look at it, and I see this, and I think, I don't have Snapchat, my eldest daughters or whatever, and I see them looking at this and seeing where the other kids are and stuff, and then they get FOMO.
Oh yeah.
And I just look and I go, I am so glad this crap wasn't around when I was young. Not everything was photographed, you know what I mean? And stuff, and it's like...
I'm that generation of Facebook came out when I was 10, and I jumped on it straight away, and every app that's possibly came out since then, I've been one of the first downloaders, and I completely empathize for any generation after me that comes with it, because like I know how much of a toll it affects me. Yeah. And I'm someone who spends all his free time working out the best way to have my thoughts. I listen to podcasts 24/7 about how to achieve the most happiness, fulfillment, destiny, pursuits, pathways. Like that's all I give a fuck about. And I'm still lost inside the FOMO aspect of but comparison. You know what I mean?
Comparison's the thief of joy, mate. Like I do spend I'm not going to say I spend a lot of time on the phone. I spend a lot of time working, right? But if I hadn't, I wouldn't kind of be where I am today, because what I've built is a really strong personal brand. And that's it, like most, because my name is Tolen, stolen, so it's like I've stolen everyone else. Hence why my company's called Stolen & Co. Easiest thing ever. But I deliberately doubled down on this, right, to go, this is who I am, and I'm out there, put myself out, and you build trust. But now what we've seen is social media is absolutely key in sales, in whatever kind of sales you are, right? You have to put proof points out, build trust, connect with your right target audience. But it's now interest media. So your target audience is being peppered with things that they're interested in, right? So whether it's podcasting or what have you. So what we're seeing now is this age where people don't want to deal with a salesperson for whatever product, recruitment, whatever it is. They want to deal with an expert in the industry. So the way that people have to get ahead, and I think in some ways I think this is good. This is where the mastery piece comes in. People need to upskill, right? You know, it's never been easier to become a dinosaur, and that's not being ageist.
Well, what did you say? It's never been easier to be a dinosaur. Yeah, that is cool.
It's true.
That is honestly very cool.
Doesn't matter whether, and there's plenty of people with, you know, a lot more kind of grey hair than me and stuff that are there, and they're constantly evolving. They're upskilling, right? So
also Mario, like we mentioned earlier, he's very tech savvy. He's tech savvy. He knows what he's doing. Yeah, more than me sometimes.
So you're going to say old then? I was going to say, geez, no,
you said grey hair, and I just imagined his beard straight away. That's what
but he is, man. Like he knows it all, right? He's incredibly tech savvy, right? So that's what I said earlier. Ignorance is not an excuse, and people come to you if you get an opportunity to sit in front of someone who's potential customer buyer or whatever. And I was looking, go, what if they say to you, what is your take on, and I get this a lot, what's your take on AI? And I'll say things like, let me just start by saying I'm definitely not the expert, right? However, here's where I see what people are trying to achieve, like the 1.5 productivity. Here's where I think it could work. Here's the areas that could work. Does that, and most people, that makes sense, right? Cool. And if you go, I've got no clue, or you sound it, then that's on you. And this is what I say in sales, where it's like, if someone comes and they've, we talked about that 14% kind of percentage before, equation, sorry. If you sit down with two people and you're a busy person and one person is clued up and they've done the research and and the other person's like, it happens all the time, flying by the seat, we'll just wing it. It's seriously?
Who are you going to go with?
Exactly, and that's on you. That's on you. So, mate, social media offers, again, so much kind of opportunity, but take some of it with a pinch of salt.
Yeah, I know. It's hard not to get lost in it, but that's not an excuse I'm going to use to stand on my own graveside. I can say, but I'm just also empathetic to those out there who struggle with the concept of the social media comparison, because I feel it myself. You know what I mean? I'm only speaking from a place of understanding. One thing I was curious about through this conversation is, within the last 6 months, you've taken another risk, just like you did 17 years ago, going out on your own, right? Which, in every way, you could say might have been as big of a risk as that in the first place, to go 20 years inside a career to then go, fuck it, I'll sort my own income out from now on, right? Now, have you heard the word logos?
I have.
Logos, meaning the truth. For everyone listening who doesn't understand it, the truth the truth that's hidden within everything.
Yes.
So I'm curious, starting your own business.
Yep.
What are some of the things that you've already learned in the first 6 months in order to start seeing some fruits? Okay. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So,
and where do you start? Because I think, and sorry to keep asking
No, mate, it's fine. So I'll give you, just for clarity, I officially kicked off the business October 23. After I'd left private equity, I took a couple of months out, went and did a boxing camp in Thailand, as you do, right? And you just kind of try and get the brain back together, kind of decompress. It'd been a solid.
Where'd you go?
Jomtien Beach is where I box, which is about half an hour south of Pattaya. Stayed in Pattaya's not particularly nice place. Didn't go there. Stayed in Bangkok with a mate up in Soy Level and went and trained, and it was really good, mate. Training in like 40-degree heat and stuff, and it was.
I love Thailand. I'm going back in a couple months.
Mate, it's brilliant. It's brilliant. But came back October 23. Going to set up a business on my own and basically build it around my personal brand. Mistake number one, I couldn't exactly tell you exactly what it was I did. It was in recruitment, and people hired me based on who I was, which was a compliment. If I'm being brutally honest, when I first kicked off, I was probably thinking, is someone going to offer me a really good opportunity, right? And that's one of the clients I was consulting to offered me that. And so June 24, I accepted an opportunity to go and run a small recruitment business. I made the wrong decision, and I wear that, right? It was the wrong thing. It wasn't where my heart was, and when I started it, and this is me owning it, I felt like I'd let myself down, and I was trying to make it work, and there was some challenges and things, and I just felt like it was really hard for me because I felt like I'd kind of given up on my dream a bit. So I did it for the 12 months, and that was where I kind of pulled the pin towards the end of June 25, and I kickstarted it again July 1 this just gone July 1 25, and I knew mentally, I was like, heaven or hell, high water, whatever, I'm going to make this work. And what I learned was, you needed to have an understanding of what you do, what you wouldn't do. What does your ideal kind of client look like, right? Values, various kind of things. And I've been evolving. It's still been evolving, like even now. The lessons learned, mate, and I hope this kind of makes sense, was it's going to be hard. Expect it to be hard, and it'll be 10 times harder.
I loved that.
And it will.
I needed to hear that bit. Fucking hell, if that's true, innit?
It's true.
Expect it to be hard, and it'll be 10 times harder.
Yeah, and it will test you, right? You know, you will work weekends, you will work nights. I was in Noosa 2 weeks ago. I worked. Didn't make me feel great, but there was stuff there. The business doesn't stop. I am a workaholic, right? I do enjoy it. I try my best. I think my wife's understood now that I'm not this kind of guy that's just going to plod around and sit on the sofa. It's not me, right?
Yeah.
So accepting it's going to be hard. I think listen to people that have been on that journey. So, you wouldn't go to a dentist for advice on a sore foot, right? And you know what I mean? So trying to take advice from people launching your business from someone that's never done it before, big mistake.
I like saying, I wouldn't go get a fat PT.
Yeah, exactly. So, mate, there were some of the things. I think the biggest thing, and this is kind of quite deep, is remember, know your why, and make sure that your family comes with you on the journey. That's something I'm still working on every day. Like, really am. Like, and I know it's hard and things, but I know that I believe in myself. And what was the phrase someone said to me? Don't chase the money, chase the guy, or chase the life that you want. And that stuck with me. And I know I'm not bothered about flash cars or this, that, and the other. But I'd like to be able to say, I live on my terms, look after my family, this, that, and the other. And I kind of created something. I think a man without purpose isn't a man. Like, so, it's we're kind of getting too deep.
I like it when Andrew Tate articulated it in a sense of how do you expect to get to your dream destination when you don't know where you're going?
Exactly.
And to me, that means exactly how you just said it. Like, I reflected on that at the start of last year. Like, who do I want to be in 12 months from now? Not what do I want to own, but if that comes with who I want to be, then I guess I can put that in the picture. But I want to, and to be honest, like, I wasn't even aware of it until I did it. Like, I was just thinking, like, I want to be able to have the freedom to wake up. I have endless options of activities to do, endless options of clothes to wear, shoes to wear. Everything doesn't feel like a routine. Everything's kind of new and spontaneous. And, like, I imagine myself being with a nice partner. I imagine myself living in a nice area and how I felt while doing these things. And then fucking 12 months later, I'm in it. And I'm like, what the fuck? How did I get here? You know what I mean? And because I wasn't actually chasing a financial number. I wasn't chasing all these different things. I knew how I wanted to feel, and then that's kind of where I ended up being. And of course, I got to make new goals and always set new plans, set new ambitions. But I like the way you said it as well. Remember your why you did it,
mate. I've as I mentioned, like, I've had the job where I had the job title, decent pay and stuff, and what I sacrificed for that, like, I gave up. It was best part of 2 years, and I work hard, right? Like, and this, I was working like ridiculously hard, but I got success from it. But I was probably not the best version of myself, right? And I look back and I go, okay, I should have had maybe better boundaries and stuff. The flip side, the networks, and when I'd finished doing that, people said to me, what you did, people watching going, you built a business like that, that meant, so it was like, people went, he's resilient, doesn't kind of give up, geez, he achieved that, da-da-da. But now when I kind of look and I go, I'm doing this again, never forget, like, say, you're doing this for the family. And it is challenging. Like, it's hard, mate. Like, it's hard at times. But money doesn't make you happy. I think being able to pay your bills and stuff like that, if your kids are healthy and things, that's good. Like, so, mate, I don't even know where the journey is going to take me. But what I know is that if I stayed in that place, not having any growth, it's not me. And I like backing myself and going, I'm just going to give it my all if it works, even this week. And this is me. I'm not the most structured at times. I just want to go and blow stuff up.
I'm the same.
And that's why I need structured people next to me. And any person that's worked with me, like, I'll be like, yeah, that sounds you. Hopefully that's good self-awareness. But there's only one of me, and there's only a certain number of hours in the week, right? You coach a lot of people on sales and branding and BD. And then you get the people, and this is not being disrespectful, it's just the fact, can I get a coffee? And they openly say, I want to pick your brains for an hour. And you go, okay. So imagine if you do that 5-10 times a week. It's a lot of time, right? Productivity in terms of So the future's online. So I've been building an online kind of coaching course, right? Early days. So I've been working with a couple of guys who are very technical, a lot younger than me, because I just don't have the time to build it. So it was all set to do, and we had the content planner good to go this week, and I pushed the button, and it went live on Monday. I shit myself because I'm like, what if it fails? What if it doesn't work? This, that, and the other. And people are going, are you mad? You're like, why? But that's the thing. And then it hasn't failed, mate. Like, and I thought, if I get 5 people who are interested, then that's all I'm after. We had 12 by the end of today. Like, people said this, I'm keen to engage in this.
Wow.
If you don't roll a dice, like that, and that was, again, and I'm okay with failure if I tried and I gave it my all, And that's my kids. Again, I keep saying, like, my son, my eldest, is probably frigging driving bonkers. Just give it your best, mate. Like, and I don't care whether you win or whatever. But the more and more that you do, and the more that you give, and the more that you keep honing your craft, the higher chance that you've got of success. You know what I mean? So yeah, that was this week. So it's been a full-on week.
That is a good week. That is awesome. You're making me realize through this chat with you as well, like, how fun ambition is.
Yeah.
Like, ambition is fun. It's not. And yeah, I guess it is taking a risk, because there is sometimes fear around the subject. However, it's so, and I really do believe this. Like, I believe that we should be having fun as much as possible, right? And I know that as a man, that doesn't sound like the type of thing you should say, because it's coupled with responsibility and kindness and honorability and all these things. But to me, those things are fun. It's fun to be a kind, giving, generous provider and a leader and masculine and all these things. Like, to put in hard work is fun. Like, it's like, if it's not about having fun, I actually don't see the point in doing it.
Mate, there's 2 things, and this is where stress comes from. And I can be a stress head, like, because I take on so much. Stress comes from inability to take action or not taking action. And what I've realized is, for me, if I've got this big challenge, but it's productive and I know what the upside is, then you'll attack it, and you'll attack it with vigor. When you're dealing with things that are, let's be honest, dealing with crappy management things and stuff, that's stressful because you don't really enjoy it. No one does, right? Like, so it's like, it's different. But like last week, going back 2 weeks ago, I was feeling pretty burnt out. Like, just start of the year, you got a lot on. I know I was saying about the course I was launching. It was in a good way. Like, there was so many tasks I had to get done, and so many little hours in the day. And then you're trying to be, my kids need to go here and this, that, and the other. And I just kind of, it was 2 weeks ago today actually, and it was just all getting a bit on top. And I was like, it wasn't a good night, right? Like, I was angry and this, that, and the other. And I'm lucky. I'm always connecting with new people, similar to yourself, right? Like, I meet amazing people. And I thought, I need to go away for a couple of days, just clear. Like, I know this, like, it was, again, and away from my missus and the kids, and I think they're probably more made up than me. And I connected with a guy called Philip MacDonald. We'd been chatting off and on for about a year, and lives in Mollymook. He's no ordinary guy, right? He's in his 60s. He's a 3 times world record holder.
Wow.
Right. Fit as a fiddle. I'll tell you one of his world records. He punched the hard punch bag, heavy punch bag, 24 hours non-stop. Now that's there, right?
What the fuck?
And I just said to him, I said, you in Mollymook? And he said, well, yeah, I live here. I was like, good point. So I'm coming down. So I drove down late Thursday night and booked a little 3-star hotel beside the beach, don't really care. And he said, I'm training people 6 o'clock in the morning. Next day I saw him at 6 o'clock. Did a training session, and I hadn't really been training the last few months, and spent a bit of time with him, still did my work and stuff. Had dinner with him on the Friday night in the golf club. He doesn't drink, and just listening to him back and forth with stories. And then I did a 1-to-1 boxing session with him on the Saturday morning. He's fit as like 60 in his 60, like, and his mind, mate, like, there's no slowing down. And he connected me with these people. And I know it's going to sound cheesy, but the people he's connected with are my people, they just push on, mate. Like they're just driving through, like, and that energy is infectious. And you see it, mate. There's these people that are high performers. They're constant, and they're just always the next thing. You know what I mean? And that was really good for me. It was really good for the soul. Like I just did 2 days, came back, and it was really good. It kind of set me up. And I think what I realized was, if I'm not training, I'm not the same guy. If you also have to take a little bit of time for yourself, because when you go in a million miles an hour, when people see this, like, you know, you go up, there's a big crash, right? So, and that's the same. I think what I realized, like this week, I've trained 3 times 5 a.m. sessions, right? And I was a different person after I'd walked the dog. Everyone's happy and stuff, but it's not rocket science.
I know.
You know what I mean?
I know. But it's like we just, I know exactly what you mean, because to me, exercise and training and even taking the dog out for a walk is so important, because I feel so much better when I do it. But for some reason, I still continue to try and build a life avoiding it as much as possible.
Why is that?
What the fuck?
Why is that? And then, I mean, I'm the same. We got the dog, as I was saying before, and he's looking at me going out the door. He goes and sits in front of the door, and we go in the gym, and I'm like, God, get out the way.
Yeah.
And that's like, and I come back, and that's why I've worked out now. I go, it's the 5 o'clock. And mate, I was either 5 or 6 a.m. guy. And the second half of last year, when I kicked off the business, I swerved it. And that's on me, and I know this, right? And then it was like, it's the one thing. When I told people, like last couple of weeks, I'm feeling just not myself, the first question they said, you training? You boxing?
And you don't even want to hear it, eh?
Yeah, and you're like, no. And they're like,
And you know what you think to yourself? You think to yourself, like, yeah, but that's not it.
Yeah, it must be something else. Yeah. Is it the weather? Do you think it's what's happening overseas? No, it's a little bit closer to home. So, mate, that's what I've realised, like, again, and you got to take time for yourself, particularly if you go at a million miles an hour. But exercise, kind of non-negotiable. You know, I wouldn't say I'm teetotal. A couple of beers a week these days, because I can't. I used to drink. I don't really drink wine anymore. My wife doesn't drink. You get older and you understand that your body and you, like, I can't perform. Certainly can't perform if I'm dusty, as in work. If I haven't trained, the same thing. I'm a different person. You go and you get through a day. So you put those two together. If you're not drinking and you train in the morning, I'm a totally different animal, mate. Like, you know what I mean? You attack the day.
Yeah. Yeah,
but we're still trying to avoid it.
It's part of human nature, eh?
Yeah.
We lust over the things that we know are self-sabotage. Like, I've been doing really well on a diet. Like, we were talking about it before we started the podcast. In fact, I was doing fantastic, and it was a snowball effect of that was improving my gym workouts.
Yeah.
Gym workouts are improving my fitness, health. Then all of a sudden, I'm more productive. I'm making more money. I'm spending more quality time with people. One little thing falls off, and it's like, I know that eating this one donut is going to fuck me up.
Yeah.
And you know what I did 2 weeks ago?
Go on.
I had 15 Krispy Kreme donuts in a row.
Okay.
15.
You probably need to see a doctor about that.
And it's like I knew what was happening. I knew what was going to go through, but it was like, for some reason, it's like we just can't help but just feel such a pull towards this problem, mate.
Yeah. Oh, mate, no, but it's it's the mind, mate. You know. And we're not stupid, like you know, like, and I think that's the one thing I kind of said, the kind of you get out the comfort zone. Do you know what I mean? Like, and it does come down to making like choices. And the same way, I'm not perfect, but again, like last week for me was a big thing, and I was very grateful to him for like spending a lot of time. He's actually up in Sydney at the moment, and we just bonded. And everyone needs these positive influences, and you need people that are a bit like nutty and stuff. And he definitely ticks that box, old Phil. But mate, like, if you're not looking after yourself, and you know things will kind of slip off, you can't go at a pace. Like, I've seen this more and more, particularly men. And there's been a few people quite close to me. They've had mental health episodes and stuff, and they're just going at a million miles an hour with kids and stuff, and this, that, and the other. That's not good. Again, second half of last year, I knew it was on me. If it didn't work, I couldn't blame anybody else, right? It was on me. So I gave it absolutely everything, and touch wood kind of came through the year. And but you've got to kind of take time out. Like, and again, I am probably the poster boy for not doing that, which at least I'm aware of it, right? And I'm trying my best, but at least I'm open and honest about that, mate. So I say I'm definitely not perfect,
Yeah, I like that constant humbleness you have too, because you've said it a few times through this episode. I'm definitely not perfect, and
I'm not.
It's
mate,
the most relatable thing I could ever hear,
mate. I think be wary of the guy or the person that paints the perfect life. You know what I mean? They're often the ones that then you go, oh, and you people in glass houses, all those kind of things. But I think it's interesting, those that often portray, being ultra successful, the perfect, like you're saying, it's all love. It's all bullshit, right?
Yeah,
like it is.
What do they call it? They call it like I know what you're saying, like the glass house. You know
yeah,
what I mean? Like
people in glass houses don't throw stones, but mate, like as I said to you before, like I'm a normal guy. 3 kids who drive bonkers. My wife who's there, she works full time as well. This is reality, mate. Like, we got a really good kind of friends group. We went to a friend's 50th last Saturday, and it was actually quite cool, Ross. And we got a little group on Messenger, I think it was, or WhatsApp, called Ferry Friends, because we all met on the ferry when our kids were that big.
Wow.
We all stuck together, wow. And.
You know what I like. I don't say you know what I like about you, but it's like I genuinely do, and it might have came out the wrong way, but you've actually showed me a few times through this conversation your ability to make friends. That is so cool.
Like, thank you. That's
you have the couple that you met in the natal class.
Yeah, you had Graham and Meg.
Yeah, you had this group of people that you met when you were on a ferry, and like even those people that you've found yourself to be connected with to go stay with them, and things like this, like. To me, that's such an important trait to my destiny. I love the ability to make friends.
Mate, thank you. That means a lot. Like, and mate, you're a likable guy as well. So don't.
Thank you.
Yeah. I'll give you. Here's an example. Like, I am lucky. Got a really close group of friends, and so last week at the 50th, there's one of my friends in this group, David and Sabrina, Swiss couple, live over here. Lovely, lovely people, and. David's a legend, and they make people know I'm a bit nuts, right? Like, and again, I'm always up to something or a project and this, that, and the other. And again, I've said a million times, I'm not perfect, right? Like, I'm sometimes crap at timekeeping. People can say I'm always on and stuff. And again, mate, I'm honestly just trying my best. And then you go, what are you up to now? Because they know something's always happening. I launched this podcast. What's this now? Okay, change the game. What is it filmed in a boxing gym? And I sent David an episode and said, have a listen to this. And I said, what do you think about it? And great mate, like legend of a guy, he respected me enough to give me some constructive feedback, but was worried that I wouldn't like it, you know what I mean? And I'm going, no, this you got this all wrong, mate. Let me hear it. What did you like? What didn't you like? And he said, I didn't like X, Y, and Z. Now, some people could be like, well, where's your podcast? And he openly said, I don't, he said, I'm just, and what he said, mate, was so pure. And basically what it was a play on, my podcast is filmed in the gym, the boxing gym, not because, it's actually not to do with boxing, although I've had boxers on, it's because life's tough, right? Life is a battle. As mentioned, I had some amazing guests asked to come and speak. And what he said was, you could have a bit where you ask some tougher questions and it's like, you're giving them a blow, it's in the, and I thought, holy hell, that is really, really good. And he was worried, but it's from a pure place of people who know me. And he said, like, I know, and he said to me, you are a teddy bear in a Swiss accent and stuff. And I was like, he said, and I sat back and I thought, and he said, you have the ring and stuff. And I was so made up with that, mate. Honestly, I was like, that is gold, mate. If people respect you enough to go, here's a bit of feedback, I've really thought about it. And then and again, he was the one that said, I don't have a podcast. He said, so you can tell me to shut up. And I'm going, this is gold. Mario Beckish did exactly the same. We went for a coffee. I'm there with my 200 followers. Mario's got like 300,000.
It's fucking mad,
right? Yeah. And he's giving you, and he's like, have you thought about doing this? Who wouldn't listen to that, mate? Like, who wouldn't listen to someone that's giving them pearls?
It's hard though, because you kind of think to yourself like, oh, what? Like, it's a complimented backhand. Like,
mate, it's feedback's a gift, and I say this to people. Like, the one thing I always say is, like, please tell me, like, the two gents I was with today who are building my online coaching community, you know, they give me, they say, we want you to do a video on this, and they're getting used to me now. Like, it's so funny, my videos which are on LinkedIn or whatever, even my son, my 11-year-old son, he keeps forgetting Nathaniel, he Googles me in school, when he's in lessons, he Googles me like, saw your video today, I'm like, you should be this guy. And he goes, hey guys, happy Monday, it's Steve Tolen, and he loves it, and I'm like, oh God. So when I'm doing these videos, I start off and I'm going, I'm gonna make it quick before my hair gets wet, and the lads are like, cut that. I'm like, just get the first 3 seconds, 5 seconds. I'm like, but that's who I am. They're like, it's so interesting, because I was saying to them, I was like, but this is, and they were like, who's the expert? Yep, you guys are.
Yeah.
And I said to them, don't ever stop giving me this. Like, I'm trying to get better, right? I really am. So if you know that this isn't gonna, and then they're like, all right, but go hard, don't go easy, don't go too hard, you know. But mate, I think it says a lot about. I'm always about self-improvement. I'm never gonna slow down, I don't think. And again, feedback is a gift. And I think to come back to the point about the friends, you know, I am blessed that I've got a lot of good friends. We haven't kind of caught up for a while, but you know, the people that have known for a long time, particularly in Australia, all our kids. It was so funny. They're all up here now, and I'm not a giant, but you know, all the kids are like up there, big lanky buggers. But it does mean a lot to me that we've got a close group of, you know, friends we trust. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, just on that side one that we went down as well, and the ability to make friends. Like my grandparents.
Yeah.
Right. My grandfather remarried this lady, and she's been the greatest gift our family could have ever received. It brought us together closer than we possibly ever knew we needed. And now we have this bigger family, like we have step family and all this stuff. And I have never watched people make friends better than my grandparents in my life. They are the two most busy people I've ever met. My grandfather served in the Australian Army for 44 years.
Wow.
His wife, I'll call her my grandma, she served in the Victorian Police Force for 36 years, something like that. Both rose to the highest possible places they could rise.
Yeah.
Then they joined the councils and the RSLs and the fucking this and the other. And then
that's good.
They are that busy with things. And then all they do now is they travel. They go to this cruise, that country. They're doing things for the 10th time, 12th time. And every time they go on a cruise, they meet new people. They come back to Australia. They catch up with people that they met from that cruise.
Love it.
They come back to Australia. And you should see the calendar. It is like, they'll literally send us a message and be like, if they message us now and we're recording this in February, I'll get a message from my grandparents saying, hey, in early September, we're actually coming past. We have an hour and a half free time before we go catch up with XYZ. Do you want to have a coffee?
Yeah.
I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Mate, it's that's awesome. Like,
it's a skill, way.
It's a skill. Exactly what I was going to say. I interviewed. I go back about 18 months ago. I met a guy. I was actually doing a podcast at the West Tigers, and a guy called Tom Samani, and he'd just been reappointed as the coach of the Matildas. He's originally Glasgow, born and bred, played for Celtic supporter, and he's 3 times he's coached the Matildas, and on that particular day, he'd just been reappointed. It was after the Olympics. Here's a guy, 70 years of age, 40 years as a professional football manager. I have never met someone so humble or so calm, and I've become really good friends. We've probably done about half a dozen events, podcasts and stuff together, and he came on my podcast the other week, been to my house, we went to a barbecue, and I asked him a question, opened up now. And I said, just really want to get into, yourself, your experience, and why do you think you've had such a major positive impact on the women's game? Coached the Matildas 3 times, started the Matildas in the 90s. His response? I don't agree with that. I don't think I have had a major impact. And I'm like, okay, right, like you are like way, and that's a gift. Like, he is so calm, like his presence, trusting, and this, that, and the other. And of course, he tells you a story. He's coached the US national women's team, NZ. Like, and I'm just like, and I made the point. I said, mate, you make it sound like you've been running a Sunday league football team. Like, I would be telling everybody, like, you've led the team out like in front of 80,000 fans. Like, seriously, that is, and no, I disagree. And like, and I think if I've learned, anything, like, what do you do? Stay humble. Job titles mean nothing. You know what I mean? Like, we're all going to end up in the same place. And he was a really, good example of someone that met where it is honestly, he's such an example of humility. He's still super fit and just a likable kind of guy. And I think I don't think anyone could ever say I'm arrogant, like, I hope not anyway. And I've never really understood it. Like, I just don't kind of get it, you know what I mean? And that's just, I'm drawn to people, with humility and things. But yeah, he's a shining example of someone who's got a lot he could kind of talk about and have tickets on himself. Mate, just what a legend he is.
It sounds like he just gets out of his own way. He doesn't have that. You can still have pride. Pride is something that we should have. Yeah. We should have pride in our accomplishments. But I think the more that you can start to acknowledge that everything that I'll just use myself as an example, everything that I have is built off the backbone of the giants that came before me.
Yeah, like that.
Like, I wouldn't be fucking nothing. Like, I didn't invent this podcast. I didn't teach myself how to speak. I didn't design my clothes. Like, I'm just fortunate enough that I get to just sit in this seat and be able to have this conversation, Like, that's all it is. Like, every great podcast only becomes from the guest's name that I put in the title of the episode who came over and gave me that episode, Like, I think the more you can learn to just let go of, like, my own accomplishments. Yeah. I think biblically they express that by saying, like, all glory to God. Yeah. But as soon as you take yourself out, it's like you have more room for the things to just happen through you in a way,
Yeah, I think there was something I read the other day, and it was, oh my God, what was that movie? Was it called Passengers, where they're up in the sky and where they're all hibernating? Like, have you seen it?
I don't think I have. No.
Okay, and there's a pretend.
Is it a new movie?
Yeah, it's about 5 or 6 years. I can't remember. I'm sure it's called Passengers. Is it? And they're up in space, and there's these two people, and they're waiting to get transported to a new planet and stuff. And one wakes up early, and then he's on his own. He's chatting to the robot kind of barman, and the barman goes something like, he goes, "You're not where you want to be, are you?" And he goes, "Sorry." He goes, "You're not where you want to be." And he goes, "Let me give you a bit of advice." He goes, "Even if you were where you wanted to be, you'd still be, take a little bit of time and enjoy life, enjoy the moments." And that stuck with me. Like, you'll watch the movie. I'll have to find it, but I've been like that. You're constantly focused on the future and where you want to be, and you have to remember sometimes to kind of enjoy the present. Like, I definitely don't dwell on the past because, like, it's kind of gone. But I haven't kind of got that balance right. But it's definitely enjoy the moments. And I think even with my kids, like my eldest is 17, and my youngest is 11, and he's a nutcase, right? Like, he's one of a kind. He's quite eccentric. He does what he wants. He's very stubborn. Great personality, loads of mates. But I'm trying to enjoy it because we're definitely not going to go through this again. And I still remember when Ethan was that age as well, right? Like, and now he's nearly 80 kilo and he can wrestle me and stuff and pin me down. I can't get him off. So that's the thing. And that's actually what drives me in terms of what I'm trying to do with my business. It's actually, there's nothing about ego or esteem, because I could go and fix that quite easy and get a job with a nice title.
Yeah.
I'm actually enjoying just being who I am, like, and actually not trying to kind of conform, but I'm enjoying this, enjoying the kind of the ride. It's kind of on my terms a little bit, you know what I mean? But that's kind of what I enjoy. Yeah,
I love the fact that working for yourself is working on yourself. You ever heard that? Yeah. Someone told me that recently on the pod. Not recently. Shout out to my mate Gong, who told me that. That was actually a while ago, but it was the first time I'd ever had my eyes open to it, because he actually has a lot more fulfillment than I was having at the time. I wasn't working for myself at all. And when he was explaining to me all the self-development he does, everything's about work and it's about my business and this and that. And I thought, I really had my eyes open to the first time, like, that's self-development.
And it's constant, mate. Like, I get a lot of coaching stuff and various things. I've got some great mates, like a good mate of mine, Mark Nichols, who was the one I went and saw in Thailand. He was my old boss years ago, and then we've worked together off and on, really good friends, and someone I trust. Like, he knows me better than anybody else, knows all my faults, and there's many. but it's interesting, like the mind. And I shared that story this week. Well, this work, whatever, and you go to people you trust. What do you think of that? And they go, "Well, of course it'll work. Of course it will." And but you still have these inner self-doubt's kind of is constant. I think it's a good thing because it keeps you humble, right? I think you can be too aloof and too cocky if you think that you're going to succeed at everything. You're setting yourself up for a big fall. So I think a little bit of that, little bit of imposter syndrome is not a bad thing as long as it's in check, right? Like you don't want to go too far the other way because you never get anything done. But it is, mate. It is working on yourself. Like I'm doing things that I know I'm terrible at, like doing my books. I'm like, oh my god, I just want to do the fun stuff, but unfortunately, run the business, it's not like that, So it is a lot of work on yourself for sure.
Yeah, I love it. I think that the step you've taken the last 6 months is inspiring. Like it's definitely, I know we haven't even spoke about it much for this episode at all, but it's definitely been planting a lot of seeds in my mind when it comes to my own business and things that I want to start doing as well, and the logos inside of it all was just about the action above anything else. It was above the action. Unfortunately, and I hate doing it, we have to get towards the end of the episode. Okay, I hate getting here. I'm going to ask you one final question. Okay,
please.
It's the same question that I've asked for. This will be episode 182.
Wow.
And that means there's over 180 different answers, but there is no right or wrong. Like I just love hearing it because of people's different perspective on it. So the question I ask is, if someone came to you for a piece of advice, mostly because they were feeling depressed, because they were just a bit lost, is there any advice you'd give that person?
Wow, what a deep question. I'll tell you why I'm pondering it, because there's a couple of people that I've been helping in this kind of situation this week. So it's quite a real kind of question, and I think it's basically what I said is, talk, open up to people, right? Don't close yourself off. Don't isolate. Most of the people that I've been talking to, and there are people in this situation, it's because they've been isolated and they've cut themselves off from people. So I think get yourself outside, go for a walk, go for a talk with people. And sadly, I'm seeing it more and more, mate, in blokes. Like, again, wasn't exactly having a mental episode the other week, but I realised that I wasn't training or wasn't doing whatever, and I was like, I need to kickstart this, right? So, yeah, mate, I think don't be isolated. Go out and talk to someone. So I hope that answers the question.
Oh, it definitely does. It definitely does. I think it's the most isolating feeling in the world to go through. Then for some reason we think that we're the only ones who can understand our own problems. Mate, as soon as you talk about it, it's like, that everyone has the same problem.
And on the flip side, check in on people. And I'm not going to break. There's some people. On the exterior, tough people boxing and stuff like that. And I've seen it. You know what I mean? And it's often, mate, the ones that you think, they're super tough and this, that, and the other. The ones that are actually feeling it most. Yeah, that's the thing. And the other thing I'd say on the flip side is, you don't know the battles that people are kind of going through. And I've learned that. Don't be a dick. Don't use people. But I think, if people are feeling kind of quite down, and I've seen this, getting out the house, talking to people, and I've done this with Ruth, like sometimes where just talking to her, this she just gives it to me straight, but in the right way. She's like, how the hell do you think like this? I'm like, is that not true? No, that's not true. Okay, cool. Continue.
Facts, bro. That's me, eh? That is me. Yeah, I love it. Well, I think it was a perfect way to wrap up a perfect episode. I couldn't have answered it any better myself. And I do empathize not just for anyone who's going through something shitty right now, but as you said, like you have had these recent conversations with people. Like, that's why I think it's an important thing to say in every episode, because
100%.
The amount of people right now who are having the worst day of their life is too big of a number for me to fathom. Yeah,
and it's again, like, there are at least 3 or 4, and I say this, and I'm not. I hope this comes across in the right way. I always check in on people. I do, I make a point, right? And I feel blessed if people trust me to share. Like, I really do. And I'd rather share that conversation with someone than, read that something terrible's like, that's reality. And I think, mate, again, maybe it's, you're seeing it kind of more and more now, particularly with men, like I say. And I think life's always going to be pressured and stuff but again, I think take time for yourself, get out and about, definitely talk to someone. And even like last week, as I said, my own kind of thing where I was like, geez, I just need a bit of a circuit break here. Once so long ago, I'd probably got out and smashed about 15 pints down the boozer. makes life worse, right? So, yeah, mate, but just get out and talk to someone. I think you feel a million times better.
Yeah, I love it. Honestly, we have so much room to continue to have another podcast, all right? What I say at the end of every episode where I want to keep going is we're just going to have to do another one, okay?
Okay. No
so I know it took a while for us to organise this one.
Yeah.
We won't let it go as long as it did, but I'd love to have you back on again in the future because we barely talked about any of the things that you have built your life around, having a wife. Are you married or not?
Not yet, no.
Not yet. Okay, but either way, like a wife, what I mean? You have a life partner.
Yeah.
You have children. Everything you've done inside the career for over 20 years, and now what actual steps you've done since then, like. We didn't even get to it, bro. You know what I mean? That's why I want to continue to have more conversations with you in the future because there's still so much to learn.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
It's been incredible. And for everyone listening, I want to say thank you as well. Thank you for making it to the end of the episode. It was amazing week this week. There'll be another one next week. That's all right.
Thank you.
Perfect, bro. Perfect. You crushed it.
Thank you. Is that all right?
I loved it.